Welcome back to Hack and Craft. Today, we're diving into something that sounds absolutely wild. We're going to turn an old WD-40 can into a homemade welding machine. Sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? But trust me, with just a few basic tools and a dash of creativity, you'll be surprised at what we can accomplish right from our own home workshop. So, are you ready to unlock this unusual secret? Let's roll up our sleeves and get started. First things first, I need to cut this empty WD-40 can in half. To do that, I'm going to wrap a sheet of sandpaper around the body of the can just like this. Now, let's take a moment to carefully align the edge of the sandpaper so it stays nice and straight all the way around. Once it's lined up properly, I'll take a marker and trace a circle around the can, following the edge of the sandpaper. And there we go. The cutting line is marked. Now I'll secure the WD-40 can in place, and I'll use a cutting tool to slice along that marked line. After finishing one side, I'll flip it around and do the same on the other end. Alright, the cutting is done. For the last bit of metal that's still hanging on, I'll just give it a quick pull to snap it off. There, now the can is fully open. At the top of the can, you'll see this small plastic tube. I'm going to use a pair of pliers to pull it out. We won't be needing that part for this project. After cutting, the edges of the can are pretty jagged and rough. They're definitely not smooth. So I'll take a piece of sandpaper and start sanding those edges down. All you need to do is place the can flat on the sandpaper and move it back and forth. Next, let's work on both the inner and outer rims of the cut edge. Even though we're recycling, we still want the final product to be neat and functional, right? Let's not overlook even the smallest imperfections. It's all part of the craftsmanship. Now the surface feels smooth and safe to touch. I'll give the table a quick wipe, and we'll move on to the next step. Although the liquid inside the can is mostly used up, there's still a little residue sticking to the inner wall. It's a bit messy, isn't it? Let me grab a piece of paper and wipe it down until it's clean. There we go. Nice and shiny on the inside now. Next, I'm going to drill a hole right around here. I'll use a marker to mark the spot. With the spot marked, let's load up the drill bit and make the hole. That's it. The hole is done. It'll serve an important purpose a bit later. I'll set the can aside for now and move on to the next part. In this tray here, I've got a few batteries and some old spark plugs. I'll go ahead and pick one battery and one spark plug. This red battery looks perfect. Let's go with that. Now I'll choose a spark plug. This one looks like a good fit. Can you guess what I'm going to do with it? Let me test it. Looks like the spark plug fits snugly into the hole we just drilled. Excellent. I'll set it aside for now. Here, I have a small piece of electrical wire. On one end, I'll strip off about 5 centimeters of the rubber coating to expose the copper wire underneath. Then, I'll split that copper wire into 2 strands and twist them tightly together. Make sure to twist it firmly so the wires don't come apart later. Now I'll wrap the copper wire around the spark plug. I'll place the spark plug between the 2 strands, then wrap the copper tightly around it. Once that's done, I'll twist the wires tightly to lock the spark plug into place. Have any of you ever recycled an old spark plug before? If you have, I'd love to hear how you use it. Share your stories in the comments. Since I don't need a very long wire for this section, I'll trim it down a bit. Then I'll strip about 3 to 4 centimeters of the insulation off the other end to expose the copper wire. Once again, I'll twist that exposed copper and insert it into the small hole at the opposite end of the spark plug. Now, let's remove the small screw from the spark plug. I'll put the spark plug and battery aside for the moment. Here's another wire. I'll strip about 3 centimeters of insulation from one end and twist the copper. Do you see that little metal hook at the end of the spark plug? I'm going to thread the copper wire through that hook. Now I'll wrap the wire around the hook and twist it tightly to secure it. Every time you twist wire like this, make sure it's tight. Not only does it hold everything together, but it also ensures good electrical contact. Let's use pliers to press the hook down and clamp the wire firmly in place. If the hook is too stiff, feel free to use anything handy to hammer it flat. Alright, that's done. Now I'll insert the wire we just connected to the spark plug to the hole in the WD-40 can, and then install the spark plug itself. Remember that screw we removed earlier? I'll feed the wire through the hole and use that screw to secure the spark plug in place. Because the screw sits quite deep, I'll use pliers to tighten it. Oh, by the way, let me ask, do any of you not know what WD-40 actually is? If so, let me explain briefly. WD-40 stands for Water Displacement, 40th Formula. It's a powerful cleaner, rust remover, and lubricant, commonly used to maintain and protect metal surfaces. It's widely used in maintenance services across industries. Back to our wire. I'll strip off about 2 centimeters of insulation from this end. Then I'll twist the copper wire tightly and fold it in half. Here, I've got a metal clamp ready. Let's remove the rubber cover and connect the wire to the clamp. I'll slide the rubber back onto the wire, place the copper into the small groove in the clamp, and then use pliers to crimp it down tightly. Now we're nearly done. Let's work on the battery. First, I'll use pliers to peel off the outer layer of the battery casing. It's best to use a pair of needle nose pliers for this step. Inside, you'll find a plastic wrap. I'll cut it with a knife and peel it off. Next, I'll grip the positive terminal of the battery and pull it out. This will bring the inner core of the battery with it. That core is exactly what I need for the welding tip. Battery cores conduct electricity extremely well, thanks to a clever mix of materials like copper, aluminum, graphite, and carbon black, all of which allow electrons to move quickly and efficiently. That's why I immediately thought of it as a perfect welding tip. Now, the battery core is a very square shape, so I'll need to round it out. I'll mount it in my drill and use sandpaper to shape it. That's a nice rounded tip now. Let's switch to the other end. I'll sand this end into a flatter, tapered shape so it fits nicely into the spark plug. All done. I'll remove the core from the drill. Have any of you ever used a drill this way to shape something? Isn't it amazing how versatile these tools can be? Drop a comment and let me know what unusual use you found for your drill. The battery core is covered in sanding dust now, so I'll wipe it clean. If we don't clean it, that dust can interfere with heat and electricity flow in our welder. Perfect! I'll now insert the core into the spark plug to complete our homemade welding machine. Now it's time to test it. Here, I've got a 12V battery. Some of you might recognize it from other videos on this channel. Let's check if there's still power inside. I'll place 2 probes on the battery terminals. And yes, the meter shows a reading. That means our battery is good to go. I've got another wire here, already fitted with metal clips on both ends. I'll attach the welder and the green wire to the battery terminals. Now we're ready to weld. Let's touch the welding tip to the metal clip and see what happens. Wow, look at that. It glows red and starts smoking right away. The welder is working beautifully. Still smoking, too. Let's try another test. Here's a piece of solder wire. I'll use the green wire's clip to hold it and test if the welder is hot enough to melt solder. Whoa! The solder melted instantly when I touched it. How cool is that? Next up, I prepared a wooden board. I'll stick a piece of adhesive aluminum foil on top and try writing on it with the welding tip. Look at that. It's so hot. The tip actually caught fire for a moment. Now, let's weld these 2 razor blades together. I'll simply lay them on top of each other and apply the welder. After a few moments, the blades are fused together. Success! And there we have it. We've transformed an old WD-40 kit into a fascinating and functional welding machine. At Hack and Craft, we believe nothing is truly useless. It just needs a touch of creativity. Give it a try, and don't forget to show off your creation in the comments or tag me. If you enjoyed this project, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming DIY adventures. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.